evening. I'm Willie Turnover, Chair of the English Department, and I would like to welcome you to the last of the Writers and Scholars events for the year. The event tonight is Professor Waqas Khwaja reading from his new book, Hold Your Breath. I've known Waqas for 20 years, since the beginning of my assistant professorship here at Agnes. In that time, he has become a highly respected and valued colleague and friend. During frequent and extensive personal conversations, I've become fully acquainted with the quality of his teaching, the range of his scholarship, and his deep commitment to ideas and literature. Within the department, he teaches widely respected courses in post-colonial world literature, British Romanticism, narratives of empire, Gothic literature, Victorian poetry and fiction, literature and leadership, and creative writing. As a teacher, Waqas stands out in terms of the high rigorous standards he sets for his students and for the imagination and care with which he conceives their tasks. As a scholar, his interests cover a broad spectrum, from the work of William Jones to Salman Rushdie, from Thomas Hardy to Rohingya history. I'm also familiar with his extensive published writing, which includes hundreds of essays and book reviews, and writers from a variety of linguistic and cultural traditions, and on subjects as wide-ranging as literature and economics, history, culture, and politics. He has edited 3 anthologies of Pakistani literature, Cactus, Mornings in the Wilderness, and Short Stories of Pakistan. He has served as translation editor and contributor for Modern Poetry of Pakistan, a National Endowment of the Arts project which showcases the work of 44 poets from 7 of Pakistan's national and regional languages, and has guest edited a special issue of scholarly articles on Pakistani literature for the Journal of Commonwealth of Postcolonial Studies. He has published 4 collections of original poetry: No One Waits for the Train, Miriam's Lament, and 6 Geese from a Tomb at Meadow. In addition, he has written Writers and Landscapes, a literary travelogue. His latest collection of poetry, Hold Your Breath, has been recently published to international acclaim. He has just returned from Pakistan for the launch of the book, where he was featured at the Islamabad Literature Festival and the International Islamic University. He was also honored by the Pakistan Academy of Letters. In addition to contributing to literary anthologies, his own work is discussed in a major comprehensive study entitled Hybrid Tapestries, the Development of Pakistani Literature in English. At the South Asia Literary Association annual meeting in January, he was cited for special recognition for outstanding creative writing. Clearly, his is an important voice in literature, and we are lucky and privileged to have him here in general, and specifically here this evening. So please welcome Waqas Khwaja.
Thank you very much, Professor Thaler, really, as I've come to know you guys, and to call you. I'm very privileged for your friendship, and the friendship of the department, and the nurturing atmosphere of this college, I must say. And I am standing askew, I'm sure. Yeah, I had requested, but it's my fault, it's not Professor Turnover. I had requested him that I would like to sit down on a stool and give an informal reading. And I'm going to try that if I'm comfortable sitting down here and still can give a reading. If not, I will use the podium. So please bear with me regarding that. Thank you for that introduction, and very kind introduction at that. This new book of poems actually is a work that came obviously after my last publication in a very difficult way, I would say, because my primary concern was not to sound like I had sounded in the last book, No One Waits for the Train. I had, in that book, inhabited perhaps the person and personality of a person who was displaced during partition. And I was living through that period for years, for almost a decade as the poems came about. And once I've written those poems, which actually difficult to get out of that person or personality and find another voice. And where did I want to go from there, and what did I want to do after that was one of the big questions. And it was very frustrating. It seemed poetry had in a way dried out, and I was only writing a couple of poems a year, and what was wrong with me, why wasn't I producing the work? But if I wrote a poem and it sounded exactly like the poem that I had written of the work that I had done in No One Waits for the Train, I couldn't in conscience keep that. I destroyed that work because I didn't want to sound like that. That was enough, that was over, and I was trying to discover something else. So this book does mark that shift in voice, if you will. And in some of the poems, which I'm going to share with you today also, there is this transition also to the spoken word idiom, if you will, which I'm greatly moved by the way, when I hear poets recite their poems in that idiom. I think they connect more intimately with the audience, and this was one of my concerns as I transitioned from my earlier work to my later work, because the work before No One Waits for the Train perhaps was a little bit more geared towards or addressed towards an audience that had more preparation to receive that kind of work than No One Waits for the Train. No One Waits for the Train was modeled on the oral tradition from Punjabi and Urdu, where you would connect with the audience, but in a different way. It was a narrative poem, a long narrative poem broken up, in various segments. So this, in a way, continues that thread of trying to connect with the audience more intimately, more simply, but without giving up the complexity which our day-to-day life sort of creates for us, generates for us, recognizing that complexity. I'll start with this poem which actually starts the book. It's called Goat. But I must say before I start that this book is dedicated to Eric Garner. You all know Eric Garner, who died in a chokehold in New York. His last words, "I can't breathe," resonated with me very deeply. And as I say in the dedication of this book, I feel that his last words, "I can't breathe," have become, for me at least, a metaphor for our age. Everywhere in the world we see kind of a disturbance, a turmoil, that is very difficult to explain or explain away after perhaps the gains of several generations, a couple of centuries. There seems to be a reversal towards the same kind of biases and prejudices that we thought we had overcome once and for all. At least some of us perhaps had overcome, and we would want to believe that the majority of us would want to believe that. Attitudes relating to race, to gender dynamics and all that, it seems we are sort of, again, falling back. So also the kind of wars that go on and the kind of extremism or fundamentalist sort of movements that we see across the world. It's not just one person or the other, one group or the other. It seems like there are huge swathes of population across the globe that are embroiled in this kind of extremist politics, extremist approaches, extremist perspectives that are very difficult to accept. At least for me. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. Maybe I live in a different world. But I will start with this poem called Goat. So here it is. It was a place of flying horses and centaurs dancing. You brushed my cheek with your lips, but never noticed the shabby coat I wore. Only the eye that dreamed. Like a second skin, I wear my coat, passable outside, but its lining worn. And still it warms me, and still you try to look past its faded, different browns. It is not time, but people. And it is not people, but people in a certain recital of their lives, whose spirit sings to the mandolin sun. Then taste is sharp, and the nose picks up all the secret smells and enticements. and just a tiny quiver of a hand sets the skin alight. Here, take my coat and shake it out and see what tumbles forth. Ah, the centaurs, can you believe it? And flying horses, and there goes the mandolin, bright as ever. Here's a poem that is a kind of a homage to my father, whom I had a difficult relationship with for many reasons. Growing up, it seemed like we were on opposite poles of the political spectrum. And the rebellious part of the teenage years was all sort of focused on how different I was from him. But at the same time, I learned a whole lot from him as well. So this is the poem that I wrote after his death 3 years ago. I dream of my father. It is as if I am getting ready to accompany you to a district far away, to assist you in another murder trial, assembling all that may be needed for the journey. Daylight sweeping in as I hear your bright voice in another room asking, is it all done? Are we ready? And the next night I am at a table at our old place, making sandwiches and packing slices of tea cake, when you enter suddenly, but I, just at that instant, inexplicably, find the sandwiches dwindled, the cake gone entirely, an embarrassed look about in confusion. They were for you, yes, though it was you always who prepared the sandwiches, got the tea cake you liked. But where did they vanish? Now it would be contemptible to serve you a poor collation when we stop for tea, and there are only 2, perhaps 3 pieces left. Both dreams entering soundlessly my sleep world, one night following another, a month after you passed on, meaningless probably, passing apparitions, but I can't get them out of my head. For the days of my apprenticeship with you come back to me, with all the audacity of my youth, the swagger and feigned conviction, when all the audacity of my youth, the swagger and feigned conviction floated on the dazzling slipstream of your renown, while others just smiled and suffered it for your sake. But case files and travel bags are real. The smooth milk tea-colored sleeves for legal briefs, nap of worn paper in my palms, the bookish scent of law digests, their solemn black and brown binding. Real too, the smell of fresh baked bread, the rich chicken paste seasoned with cracked black pepper, the lavishly buttered egg spread spiced with mustard, flavored with crushed mint leaves. And you, with your deep, resonant voice, your signature smoker's smell, not yet plagued by resentments and disagreements, nor by the clogged arteries or the cancer on your tongue, the warm magnitude of your presence, just as real as sunshine on my face. And here's a poem more in the spoken idiom, if you will, representing a situation where some of us may feel trapped by the place we are born in, trapped by the historical period we are born in, the conditions and contexts of our time, which is called I Was Born an Enemy. I was born an enemy, but I did not know it then. The Sandman came and shut my eyes. The clatterer lurked in dark corners, waiting to pounce, and only a sacred verse kept it at bay. In the morning, I was the sparrow and its mate. In the afternoon, a dog looking for shade. Come evening, a woman whose glimpsed hair flashed in the sun's dying light as she flung it back, bathing in a stall without a roof. At night, a mouse pretending to be a lion's companion, sometimes a prince dispossessed of his state. I was born in many lands. I have traveled across many seas, scaled mountains and trekked through timeless deserts. I have been many people. मुझे देखो तो सही, मेरे जिस्म के कितने टुकड़े, एक एक हिस्सा कभी जिसका नाम था, और वो अपने नाम से पहचाना जाता था, आज कोई नाम है. Yes, each part of my body had a name once, cherished and pleasing. No more. Like me, it is now without a name. कुछ नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं. A nameless fragment of many wholes, And those holes with no face, no hands, arms, eyes, ears, legs, feet. Those holes without a heart, lungs, liver, guts. Those holes that have but one designation now, a generic one, Dushman. I was born an enemy, but I did not know it then. I read about myself in books growing up, not knowing yet of race or color, caste, class, or creed. Not understanding yet differences in belief, oblivious to gender. And I financed myself with those who taught me, with the language they spoke, and those who wrote the books I read, their ideas and their judgments. And I came to see myself as a stranger in my own land, as an alien among those I grew up and lived with, as one unfamiliar with a language, my own, but a confreer of those that brought to me the flames of their scripted words. And I learned one by one all shades of difference. I learned race and color, caste, class, and creed. I learned beliefs calibrated carefully to context, those that must be despised and those held in esteem. I learned to separate myth from religion, religion from legend, parable and fable. I learned some tales were history, some history legend. That what was outside the province of the preceptor's intimacy was all fable and superstition, a false shadow of the real and the true. I learned gender, male versus the female, biologically and mentally at odds with each other, each behaving in ways ascribed to each to make integrity of kind, one above the other always, but differently in different societies, oppressive and abusive in mine, broadly coordinate and honored within a play of delicate differentials in another. I learned to deduce inclinations and attributes from the penis and the vulva, and the relationship of one to the other of tiller and tilt, in my word exploitative, in another culture and cultivated. No matter how intensely I learned to admire those who taught me, strove to observe laws and etiquette they had established, honored their rules, precepts, and axioms, respect and celebrate even their rituals of euphemism and equivocation, their subtleties of differentiation, I was not the right color, the right race, not from the right society, not the right society. That I aspired fruitlessly and entirely at my own risk for things unattainable, that I was born an enemy and my learning but to establish the unalterable nature of this simple truth. Caliban, to those who taught me, forever a suspect, waiting for a chance to rape some underage Miranda, waiting to overthrow some sage and learned Prospero, forever conspiring, forever prone to treachery, forever preparing to commit an atrocity, polluting with my foul thoughts and native words the language of my masters, born to the wrong people with the wrong genealogy, in the wrong place with wrong beliefs, the wrong color, the wrong aspirations. I was born an enemy, though I did not know it. And here I am, a peevish poet, a peevish and fretful poet, clumsy and uneasy as I recover, almost as if by accident, bits and pieces of lost, severed, and discarded selves, torn limbs and body parts that once were mine, from the maktab, the whale felt that is my present, from the wasteland that is also the graveyard of histories, primitive and odd, contemporary and outdated, neither this nor that in the wilderness of life, adrift in vagaries of gendered forms, beyond race in the power play of races, of no class or status or rank, wo jiski koi auqat nahi, koi burkat nahi, fighting untold modernity and progress, with a combustible mix of words and words, cross-pollinated by strangered languages, stoked by a kindling of wild thoughts, tukhani roti, sulada salan, ahanda badan, caught between damning desire and deadly rage, forever condemned to render my dry bones as the final offering at the altar of indifference. Yet why does my heart falter when I look up and find you, armed and ready among those I'm preparing to resist? So here's a poem that is dedicated to Eric Garner, just like the book is dedicated to him. This is a poem that ends this volume. It's called A Breath, a Word. One word to share with you, one breath between us, One word I could not utter. One breath stuck in my throat. My body's grime is all my wealth. You excavate me to find yours. I was a child without a childhood, a young man without his youth. My gentleness denied taught me to love, and love taught me to invent a life. But my body's grime could not be washed. My body's grime would not let me live. एक सांस है, एक लफ्ज़ आपके साथ बांटने के लिए. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. एक लफ्ज़ जो कह ना सका. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. एक सांस जो ले ना सका. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. मेरे जिस्म की मैल ही मेरा कुल असासा है. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. आप मेरे जिस्म की कान को खोद कर अपने एहसासे बनाते हैं. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. एक सांस है, एक लफ्ज़ आपके साथ बांटने के लिए. I can't breathe. Something on perhaps later note. I'd like to share with you an example of a villanelle that I wrote. Don't trust me with any strict form. This is called the Tea Party. They reference the Boston Tea Party. A lot of tea was tossed on fish that day. They would have come in pumps and heels and hats if only they were asked or had a say. But no one had a thought for them that day. The rebels railed against the township acts and just flung crates of tea in Boston. Fish grumbled indeed, this wasn't quite the way, darting away from staining tea leaf tracks. If only they were asked or had a say. Above, roused comrades rushed without delay to teach a lesson to Westminster rats, tossed yet more tea on fish in Boston Bay. Caught by surprise, fish stared in dismay as writers trained to profit plutocrats. If only they were asked or had a say. So without tea or milk pot or a tray, without scones, crumpets, biscuits, butter pats, a lot of tea was dumped on fish that day. If only they were asked or had a say. It's a poem that I wrote for the occasion where the gay nights club in Florida was attacked and people were killed. And there was a commemoration, remembrance of that event here in Atlanta. And I was invited to read a poem, so I wrote it specifically for the occasion. And in it, actually, as you would see, I'm referencing a number of characters from both Eastern, Middle Eastern, subcontinental, that is Indian subcontinental history, as well as American and Western sort of cultural landscape as well. Today, I am a Muslim weaver. Today, I am a Muslim weaver in love with a Brahmin boy, and we will be one through all the years of our life. In death, we will be buried side by side, though we will die some years apart. I take leave of the mosque and the madrasa, but you will celebrate yearly my soul's union in my demise. And when you do, you will celebrate him with me. My name begins with his name. When you remember him, his name will always precede mine. Now I am the son of Mumina Khatun, learning my alphabets at my father's knee in a mosque, seeking wisdom in the forest of scriptures and jurists, words far and wide. But tonight I meet the mendicant from Tabriz, and we fall into each other's arms, body and soul. I do not know yet that I will lose him in 4 years. I do not know yet that he will inhabit me for the rest of my life on earth. That he writes all I will write. But I do know my tomb is in the hearts of those who remember me always with him. Another day, and I am a supplicant traveling from Qasur to Lahore. My ancestry is impeccable, but I travel on foot, lowest among the lowly. The shimmer and dazzle of sacred verses boxed in my heart. But I seek a guide worthy of what I carry within, in secret within. And here is one turning the soil, going around plants, weeding, watering his garden. There is nothing to it, he says. What is uprooted here is planted elsewhere. I shed my man's clothing and put on a horse outfit and bells and dance for him in the streets to win his heart. Oh, and a throng of devotees fawns upon me today, gathered around my rope bed. Guardian of saints they call me, my pupils and my disciples. But waiting for him, my eyes have become the skylight of my room. I know he will come triumphant from his expedition months after I am gone. He with whom I danced one spring in fields of endless sarson. And he will know the moment he steps into the courtyard. I see him weeping and wasting away at my feet, mumbling the words he will compose. My sweetheart sleeps on her wedding bed, her hair covering her face. Go to your home, Khusro. Night falls in the dark umbrella. And I am today a black, lesbian, feminist, mother, poet, warrior, close to my death. I know, because of my malignant breast. I have loved women and men equally, or almost equally. White or black hardly mattered to me. But my own blackness does, for I claim that as much as I claim my sex, my womanhood. And at this stage, nearing my death, I think of how I smelled that day when my mother, her hands dried after her washing, looks at me lying on the couch, and she comes to me, and without a word, we touch and caress most secret places. Suddenly, I am in Lesbos, surrounded by friends and companions, aware we are more deeply bound to each other than to our husbands, though our husbands have their place too. Go and be happy, but remember, you know well, who you leave shackled by love. But to give and receive love beyond mere love-making, to strike the lyre and dance to song and music, pour myrrh upon each other's head, bathe in the pools together, kiss and rub each other dry. There is much the world counts beautiful. I say, indeed, it is whatever you desire. I am the woman who leaves her husband to go her own way, for I will not lie under him who was created simultaneously with me, nor endure his subjection, nor the insults or abuse by in-laws. You may find me naked roaming the streets without shame. You may find me in bed with other women who are my sisters and my lovers. You may find me alone braving the forests and the wilderness. I will choose for myself whatever it is I wish to do. I am the first rebel, the first to be exiled for my beliefs. And it is I who say to my mother-in-law after my husband dies, do not press me to leave you or turn back from following you. Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. And for her I will bear a child by another man, to be her comfort and her redeemer. And faintly I see in the distance, in some hazy desert morning, what seems like a man slowly bleeding to death, outstretched on an upright cross. And body to body, lip to lip, our arms encircling each other. Today I know neither sex nor color, creed nor rank, black entwined with white, brown with pale. No garment but our bodies, no raiment but our desire. Our tongues seeking each other's mouth, our breasts to breasts conjoined, heterogeneous both complete, not partly this or that, created together in that cosmic cauldron. I am one, I am many, I am all of you. My tale has never been told. I'm just trying to tell the story. Look at my face. See how you have disfigured me. I don't know myself from myself anymore. What do I do if I have no urge to make love to a woman or to a man when I'm a woman, and you compel me to marry one? Or if I love as I choose, or I do not wish to make love at all? What do I do if I end up living as a shade in shadows, as a ghost among real people? If my life becomes one enormous lie, and I do not wish to live a life, what if that cankers me from within, and someone I love is oblivious to it? Look at me. I have nowhere to go. No one I can trust. Not myself, not even you. Who do I owe allegiance? Why don't you recognize me? How are we doing regarding time? sharing the poem. I've written some silly poems. Here's another one. A simple one. This is a simple poem. It will do nothing for you. You will read it and it will be over. No matter how many times you repeat the experience, you will not be able to escape the consequence. Every time you will start to read, it will immediately already be done. Every time you go back to the beginning and read it all the way through, you will reach the same result. And that will be all. It will be over. Again and again the same. But you won't be able to get over it. You will begin once more now that you are at the end. You can try other ways, start in the middle, anywhere else. You still will get to the same end. And again, that would be it. Start just anywhere. In the middle of the line, read backwards, pick it up at the fourth line from the last, or the third from the start, or the end. Start with the seventh, if you please. Read it diagonally, vertically, horizontally. It will end the same. Go crisscross over the text. Read it in any shape you like, any pattern you can think of, randomly if you will. Still the same. You will start and it will end. You will read it and it will be over. Try writing it out. Still the same. It will do nothing for you. This is a simple poem. Here's a poem that I'd like to share with you. I read this before at Agnes one of the events we had organized for the 100,000 Poets for Change. It's called Kuku Kore. And I don't think it needs an explanation. Everyone knows what Kuku Kore are. So I'll just read it. Doves and horses, dumb birds and beasts, cuckoos and goats, come look, come look. Pigeons and cattle, rabbits and lizards, they're all for you. Run up and see. There's a parrot with a hole in its neck, and if you blow through it, like this, see me do it. It's a whistle as well, blow hard or blow softly, it makes a sweet sound. Come try this one out. And so all these others have no sound of their own, but only what you give them by blowing through the hole. You give them your breath, you give them your voice. It's almost as if they stir in your hands. Clay toys shaped and molded and baked in a fire, clay doves and clay horses, each one just for you. A cart and its wheels with axle and spokes, an ox yoked to it, or a pair if you wish. There's more if you like, much more than all this. Let me untie this bundle and show you what else. Look, here, a mud oven, all ready for use. Come close, you can touch it. It won't come apart. Pots, serving trays and saucers, clay skillets and pans, bowls, sifters, colanders, jars, dishes and spoons. Here's a pestle and a mortar to grind your spices and all that you can wish for. Take your pick, take it all. You just need a house. You just need a household. And everything to run it is here for the asking. And when you are done and tired of it all, you may toss these away without worry or care. Our mother, this earth, will take them all back, and rains wash and sweep them down rivers and creeks, into ponds and pools, into water holes and bogs. And again I will venture, as I have long done, forever and a day, through seasons and years, and dredge up the loam, the pitch and the clay, and once again knead it, and mold it and sculpt it, in forms that you see, in shapes that you love. Doves and horses, dumb birds and beasts, cuckoos and goats, I bring them to you. Pigeons and cattle, rabbits and lizards, they're all for you. Run up and see. So I think I can end this with this one last poem, and it is called Last Spring. And it is not last spring, it is the last spring, but it says last spring, it is the spring that you will remember in the poem perhaps. For those of you who are familiar with Wallace Stevens' poem, 13 Ways of Looking at a Blackbird, you may notice that this is a poem that has indeed 13 segments or sections, whether it means anything or not. It's up to you to decide, but here it is. 1. Is it Arab or Hebraic spring, or sputtering dawn of a burning cross? The cauldron seethes and hisses, a murky brew rises and boils over.
watch it spread. 2. Spring soot and winter ash, autumn bile and summer spite. 3. The magpie is blue, gray and white. Its beak red, steel gray or yellow. 4. I am one of no color, impossible to track. When I brand my lit on you, you bruise black, you bleed red. 5. The magpie refuses to be classified. At times its tail is green, its head and wings chestnut, its back and breast azure, many shades, or pea, olive or turquoise, rose legs or granite gray, and bill coral mustard or black. For all that, simply a relative of crow. 6. And crow has a harsh bark, a sapient bird with a flinty beak. It ushers no spring, but cares for its kind, shares food with its flock. It feeds on fruit and grain, on earthworms and crop pests, frogs, lizards and young mice, minnows and fish, even carrion. It raids nests for eggs and hatchlings. 7. A shadow of no color hovers over Earth's spring, a blazing light that dazzles eyes and differentiates into a rainbow's bars. White light vibgures into leaf and flower, infects bird and beast with tint, pigment, and paint. 8. Crow stays stubbornly black, casts its shadow on spring, summer, autumn, winter. Crow shades eyes, dark as darkness alone, dark as truest blood. Crow circles above and warns. Crow comforts. 9. A murky brew stirred with exquisite malice, spitting tarnish and taint, hissing slander and calumny, while fiery cloudlets of smoke rise to entrance invisible nostrils. Crow watches attentively. 10. The magpie feeds on caterpillars, flies, beetles, and grasshoppers. It sups on small rodents and snakes, decaying flesh of animals, and scraps left over by predators. It too steals eggs and nestlings from other birds. 11. Hunted and trapped, pursued by assassins and slayers, poisoned by baits, indiscriminate epicures perceived as a menace, their roosts blown up by dynamite. Neither eats its kind. 12. Crow pecks and prods ash and cinder, stabs at charred flesh. Magpie eyes and waits. 13. The magpie looks in a mirror and sees many birds, many colors. Crow looks at magpie, its eyes glittering, and caws in acknowledgement.